Hello everyone! Welcome to the first actual proper video of the channel. Today's video is going to be a monthly manga video. So this is a series where I am going to look into manga more because although I have done a few manga reviews on A Girl and Her Anime before on the blog, I haven't really done that many. So I'm hoping that this series will allow me to actually express my opinions on manga more so than I do currently. This month's manga, I am going to be focusing on one in particular just to ease my way into things. And that manga is one that I picked up from the local library. My local library is not a good place for manga. I have searched high and low through the catalogue several times and there isn't much choice. So that's going to be fun. Hopefully they'll update that soon. This is the manga that I picked up from my local library. It's this one right here. This is, of course, Victor Hugo's most famous work, Les Misérables. Les Mis. Let's just call it Les Mis. My French isn't up to scratch, let's say. But yeah, it is an absolute classic and I absolutely love the story of this. I have seen the musical several times. I have the musical on DVD. I've seen the movie a good couple of times as well. I have the sheet music for this for piano. I love it. It's one of my nice little guilty, not even a guilty pleasure, but one of the pleasures in life for me. Now this is quite good because this is the full story in manga form. This is part of the Manga Classics collection. Now the back of the book says experience classical tales in manga format. Adapted for stage and screen, loved by millions, Victor Hugo's classic novel of love and tragedy set in 19th century France is reborn in this fantastic new manga edition. Gorgeous and expressive art brings to life the unforgettable stories of Jean Valjean, Inspector Javert and the tragic fatigue. I was doing so well. And the tragic Fontaine in this epic adaptation of Les Mis. Well, okay, so the artwork for this has been done by a person called Sun Neko Lee. I will admit, never heard of him. Sounds like it's someone's deviant art name. The story adaptation is by Crystal Silvermoon and the English script is by Stacey King. Now this was published by Udon Entertainment. I haven't read this just yet. So I am going to give it a read. It shouldn't take me too long because manga never does take me too long to read. And I shall get back to you guys with some thoughts. Actually, what I'll do is I'll film myself reading it, and if I have anything to say in between, I will just pause reading and tell you guys.
A few moments later.
I have a couple of things to say already. First things first, the art isn't too bad actually. I will do a close-up of this, but little baby Cosette, when she's being left by her mother, is adorable looking. She is so cute. It's breaking my heart actually how cute she is. I was a bit worried about the art considering the first page you turn to. It's like this artwork page. I'm not really too into that art style, so I was a bit like, is it going to be a nice art style? But actually it's not too bad. It's very, very cute, very exaggerated eyes, but so far, you know, it's nice. I can't really argue with it. I have seen a lot worse. What I will also say whilst I'm here is that Jean Valjean is looking pretty nice for a 46-year-old man. He's looking pretty swish in this adaptation, I will admit. Not that he doesn't in the other adaptations, but in this adaptation, yes.
Eventually.
Okay. No, I never thought after so many times of hearing the story and reading the story and watching the story that I would be so engrossed in a manga adaptation of Les Mis. It's very fast paced. But it's so good. Honestly, it is really good at this point. So I've basically reached chapter 6. this is where they introduce Marius. One thing I don't really like about this adaptation is the appearance of Marius. He... oh gosh. He's got that very bishy look about him. So yeah, Chapter 6, Marius, Part 1. And this is probably where I would argue Cosette meets Marius for the first time. She is now 16 years old. And Jean Valjean is still on the run. It's such a good story. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, so I just finished chapter 6 and 7, where you follow Marius and explore him falling in love with Cosette and things like that. I kind of liked it, kind of didn't like it to a certain extent. I believe it goes into a bit more detail about Marius's father and the innkeeper's history at the Battle of Waterloo. Or at least if it doesn't go into more detail, it has certainly clarified things for me. But yeah, basically chapter 7 ended on a discussion on morals, like should I do this to save them or should I do this to help them, which is the lesser of the two evils basically. Okay, so Marius and Cosette have finally met and they have finally struck a conversation with one another. This is a couple of pages into chapter 8, by the way. But they've literally been talking for about 5 panels, if that, and they're already having a kiss. I can't remember it being this dramatic. Perhaps I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they spoke in between the gate, like from outside and inside the gate first, before they even considered having a kiss with them. I don't know whether this is just because it's a manga trope or what, but I don't know. I don't like that bit, I will admit. Don't like it.
20 minutes later.
Okay, I've just finished reading the actual story. It was actually a really, really good adaptation. Like I said, there were a couple of things I'm not too happy about, but you know, I can't really complain. It is a good adaptation. After the story, as the story ends, you turn the page, you get a couple of bonuses. The first one is some character sketches, and you can see the different character evolutions, so to speak, of the characters, which is a real nice touch. Then you turn the page again, you come across this page, and it's Crystal Silverman talking about how they adapt the story for a manga. Both the story and characters are well known to many readers and has been adapted in numerous ways, from the famous Broadway musical to films and television series and even an American comic book. I didn't know that. The most important thing when adapting a script is to determine the plot based on the length of the new medium. When adapting for a serialized television drama or episodic animation, the length of the project is sufficient to include more details of the original story and even allows the scriptwriter to add their own original ideas. As I am adapting the script for a manga that has very limited real estate, it is necessary to trim away some of the scenes to make sure that the total story will not be broken into too many pieces. It is not just about taking the dialogue, characters and scenes directly from the book, expressing them through artwork and calling it a manga. I suppose, yeah, I get where she's coming from. I can't be too disheartened with the actual end result because they don't have that much room. Due to the length of the manga, I don't have room to cover the backstory of every single character. You really need to read the original book to understand the full story Mr. Victor Hugo wanted to tell, which I would probably agree with. However, I haven't actually read the novel myself. Probably should do that. It's very important to be familiar with the original story when talking about adaptation, but how faithful should you be? It's helpful to read the other adapted works that have come before. Yeah, no, I completely agree with Crystal Silverman here. She does talk up a lot of sense. Then at the very back you do also get some little bonus yonkoma Definitely think I need to get my hand on some more of these manga classics. I do think it is a good way of reading the classic literature if you don't have time to read an actual a book version of it. But yes, overall I do recommend this. I think this is a really good introduction to Les Mis if you haven't already experienced it. I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's not the best manga in the world, don't get me wrong. There are some things wrong with it. There are some things I don't like about it. But I am actually really pleasantly surprised by how good this adaptation is. I wasn't expecting much from it. So to see it come to life in a format I never actually expected to find it in, and for that adaptation to be a really good version of the story, yeah, I think it more than deserves a 7, and yeah, definitely do recommend this if you can pick it up. Okay, and so that concludes the first ever monthly manga. This is where I do those awkward conclusions to videos, isn't it? I shall see you all next week. If you want to see more anime and manga content amongst other nerdy things, don't forget to subscribe down below, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye!